grab a drink, get comfy, and prepare to learn about
the strange, the unusual, and the downright stupid things you didn't think that you needed to know about.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Brooke. And this is Drunk in the Library. We're back again
With Spooktober week 3.
and this week is haunted things, places, people, things.
Just haunty stuff.
Yeah, spooktacular, spooky things.
We're trying to get you in the mood.
Yeah, so get us in the mood by supporting us.
Different kind of mood.
It would put me in the best mood ever.
Exactly.
If you went to our Apple thing and said, hey, you guys are fucking amazing. You don't have to say fucking, because I don't think Apple would appreciate that, but put some pizzazz in it.
Or, hey, you guys suck. Let us, either way, let us know.
Don't put the sucking on the Apple reviews, though, because that counts against us. You can message that
Put
to
that
us.
on our Facebook. Yeah,
only good reviews. Comments can be bad. And if you don't like us cursing, I don't fucking care, man. I'm gonna do it anyway. Alright, so you're first.
Yes, I'm first. I am also bringing this back home with my first haunted place.
Okay.
We're talking about the Pine Barrens.
Oh.
So, not far from where you were last episode.
Okay, we're reeling it back in. Go ahead.
So, my sources are Wikipedia, WeirdNewJersey.com, and OnlyInYourState.com.
Okay.
Just a quick trip for you and I into South Jersey, and you will find yourself immersed in one of the oldest forests in North America. The Pine Barrens is the largest example remaining of the Atlantic coastal Pine Barrens ecosystem. The ground is sandy, making the trees you find in a typical forest unable to grow there. It is prone to fires, making it difficult terrain to inhabit for many species of both flora and fauna. As such, the growth there tends to be harsh, dense, and cruel. You can find several species of carnivorous plants in its growth if you know where to look, as well as multitude of strange and unusual animals.
Okay.
People have inhabited these Pine Barrens for as long as people have inhabited New Jersey. Despite its proximity to two major metropolitan areas, however, the people who grew up really deep in the Pine Barrens are people of a different breed.
I've read about this.
More similar to Southerners than New Jerseyans, they speak in slow drawls and live in more rural areas. Due to their separation from the rest of the population, they have spurred legends of some strange proportions.
Panies.
While the Jersey Devil is obviously the most common of these of these legends, it is not the only one, and I'm not talking about the Jersey Devil at all.
Are you talking about the white stag?
No, but that did come up in my research.
The Patronus?
So we're just going to talk about some other ghosts that haunt the Pine Barrens. So on Route 70, and therefore the Barrens, it's filled with deserted villages.
Hell yeah, it is. It's fucking scary out there.
Yeah. These villages are often found half destroyed with little or no evidence of what happened there. Ramshackle huts, the roofs half destroyed or half caving in, the door hanging off the hinges, beckoning to passerby to come on in and check them out. Teens fill the fireplaces with woods on a Friday night, only to leave a half-dead fire when they hear a creepy call from the woods outside.
Oh, no.
People drive down long and twisting roads at night in unexplainable fog causing them to take a wrong turn somewhere, and then they find themselves in one of these empty villages. If you find yourself driving down these empty, long roads at night, you're sure to freak yourself out, as we well know. You can imagine any scenario out there, from the Jersey Devil, a cryptid said to haunt the area for several hundreds of years, to ghosts, to strange groups of people hovering around fires at midnight, chanting dark words up into the sky.
I have a story about that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'll tell you when you're done.
Okay. Legends of ghost activities in the Barrens is plentiful, and most locals have at least some sort of, a spooky story to tell.
Yeah, hello.
On Burnt Mill Road, there are tales of a ghost boy who haunts the street. He's said to have been killed in a hit-and-run, still searching for his killer today. The legend goes that if you are driving on the road and at night and turn your lights off, you might see a little boy searching for his ball. I think he's called the Atco Ghost.
I feel like I've heard of that one.
In 1979, Joe Mulliner fled his home in order to avoid arrest before beginning a crime spree in the area.
Oh.
He burned down farmhouses, kidnapped and held up stagecoaches. But he became kind of like known as the Robin Hood of the area because he would leave the poor alone and prey mainly on the rich.
So I'd be safe.
Yeah, we'd be solid.
Cool.
He was eventually captured in Nesco and convicted of high treason on August 8th, 1781. Jesus Christ. He was hung the same day at Gallows Hill, and he was buried on a high bank overlooking Mullica River and Cold Spring Swamp. And his grave, like, went unfound for a really long time, but he is said to, like, still occasionally just, like, pop up in
There's a lot of shit that goes on in Mullica.
Yeah, it's a pretty the whole area is, like, super fucking haunted. July 13th, 1928, residents of Tabernacle heard a rumble. I actually practiced saying that and then still wasn't sure that I said it right.
No, you're right, Tabernacle.
Heard a rumble of a dying engine overhead during a bad electrical storm. A young Mexican pilot, Emilio Carranza, was flying a plane on a route from New York City to Mexico City. Said to be guided by nothing more than a flashlight, the plane went down in the pines.
Oh, God.
The crash became known locally as the Mexican Lindbergh, and a monument stands today in the spot where his plane went down. It is said that if you visit the monument at night, turn off your car lights, and wait a few minutes, you will hear the groan of a dying engine overhead and a flashlight. Emilio Carranza himself searching for a place to land his plane.
Oh my God.
There are a set of strange footprints embedded in the cement around his monument that, like, lead up to it, but never away. People have reported their cars stalling in the area. People who've... First of all, I don't know why the fuck you would do this. People who have climbed up the monument claim to be shrouded in a strange fog. One person even reported feeling fingertips that stopped them from falling off of it, like catch their shirt.
If you climb up a monument, you
deserve whatever is coming to
what
you.
You get. I don't feel bad for you, because you knew something was going to happen.
You deserve that weird fog.
Yep,
reports of lights too high up in the air to be a car, but too low to be like a flying plane, have been spotted in the rearview mirror of cars as they drive away.
Nope.
Yeah. So that's it. That's just 3 of the other ghosts that are in the Pine Barrens. But there's so many ghosts out there.
There's some weird shit that goes on out there.
Yeah.
And my story is when I was in high school, my friend and I wanted to do weird New Jersey things, but, like, we're a bunch of pussies. So, you know.
I am familiar.
Yeah. So, like, you know, you get brave for a second, and then you're like, no, I don't want to do this anymore once you come upon what you decided you were going to do. So, we got 2 of our friends, and we're driving out to, I don't even remember the place that we had picked. I really could not tell you. But I just remember we drove down a dirt road. I feel like I might have been driving, but I think I was driving her car. Okay. I think hers was more reliable than mine was. So, we're driving out there, one-way dirt road. There's no one else that can come towards you. We have to stop because straight ahead, there is what looks like a fire. Like, you can see, like, you know that glow that, like... that they have. We couldn't see the actual fire, but you could see, like, the glow from it, like, almost outlined, like, beyond the trees.
Okay.
And we were like, this is the middle of nowhere. Like, there should not be a fire going on out here. So we backed our asses out of there and fucking fled. But, like, what the fuck was going on out there, man? They're probably a cult.
Yeah.
That's a lot of shit that goes on. There's, like, satanic rituals
that
and
fucking
shit.
Scares the shit out of me. Even more than ghosts. I do not want to get mixed
Honestly,
up in
that's the main
behavior.
reason why I'm too scared to do weird New Jersey stuff.
Yeah,
because
I don't
I'm scared
to stumble upon a cult.
Exactly. Like, a lot of those villages and things, like, I know about them, and I'd love to go. Like, I love abandoned things. I love the aesthetic of it. I love the feel of it. I want to participate, but I don't want to die.
No.
In that sense.
No.
So, like... I just don't want to walk into somebody's, like, abandoned house and, like, either find a transient there or somebody practicing fucking black magic or just something bad.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely afraid of that.
Yeah, me too.
I would have to go with a huge group because then I feel protected.
Or in the middle of the day.
I don't even know if I'd feel okay in the middle of the day. Would you feel okay walking into, like, an abandoned village, just me and you, in the middle of the day?
If it were broad daylight, yes. Like, I'm talking
Really?
a perfect crystal clear day, not a cloud in the sky. Yeah. That wouldn't... I mean, it would creep me out, but I would do it.
Let's do it.
No cults are practiced in the middle of the day. You're fine.
I don't know.
We could take a homeless person.
Okay, fine. You're right. We could. We could. If we had the right tools, and man, we just threw those knives out, and we just said, like, oh, we probably won't ever need them again.
Yeah, should have kept them.
Should have just kept them in my car. Damn it. We'll go back out and get them.
Yeah.
dollar store knives. All right, fine. We'll do it then. I'll break out the Weird New Jersey, and we'll go piss our pants somewhere.
Yeah, there's a bunch of weird ones in the Pine Barrens.
I know.
There's one called, like, I mean, like, I didn't talk about this because it's, like, it's racist and not nice. But there's, like, Albino Village, where it said that, like, a bunch of albino people live out there.
Which is really sad, because, like,
Yeah,
why do you
is.
feel like you can't
Just
live
come
amongst
with
us?
Yeah, we'll be your friends.
Yeah, we'll be nice to you.
As long as you're nice.
Yeah. I've heard about the ones that are, like, cannibal albinos.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that, too.
Or cannibal clowns.
That one I don't want
And then I'm
anything
like,
to do with.
if I stumbled upon that, I would crash my car.
Yeah.
Kill me.
There's also a bunch of, like, supposedly haunted, like, taverns and bars and stuff out in, like, the western Pine Barrens that some of them are still open. Like,
Really?
We should just go grab drinks there.
We should. I wonder if those will be in my Weird New Jersey book. We'll have to,
I don't know, but I'm sure we could find them in somewhere anywhere.
I'm curious about that stuff then. Well, yeah, we'll go through that. We'll do something with that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, that's the Pine Barrens for you guys.
Okay. Well, then I'll go next. So, I guess we didn't explain how we were doing this. We each picked two. So, we're doing this kind of the same way as last time, where it's like we alternate and then we'll take a break and come back. So, I go next. And I'm going to tell you about a hotel in Canada.
Okay.
So, we're going to talk about the Fairmont. I feel like it's pronounced Banff.
Okay.
Banff? I don't know. Banff?
Could you spell it for me?
Banff?
Sure.
Banff?
Sure.
We're going to say Banff. If I'm wrong, I apologize. The Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel in Canada. My sources are lineup.com and avenuecalgary.com. I did not use Wikipedia for this.
Wow, I'm so proud.
I know. That's because, like, Wikipedia didn't have any information at all whatsoever. So it's in Alberta, Canada, and it was built in 1888. And it was basically meant as a retreat for traveling businessmen because it was built, like, kind of like in the railway age. Like,
okay.
That was just starting to become popular. So people who'd be on the railway would stop there, to take a break. So this thing is massive. It literally looks like a castle built up on a mountain. It's so cool looking.
Cool.
And it's known as the Castle of the Rockies, even though it's not in the Rockies. But
okay,
I didn't name it. So it's been in existence for like 128 years.
Okay.
Or for over 128 years, and has had like a lot of really popular people visit it, including Marilyn Monroe, Helen Keller, and Queen Elizabeth II. So there's a couple different ghosts that are said to haunt this place. One of them involves room 873, which is interesting because 873 doesn't exist in the hotel. There is no 873 because it would be like the 73rd room on the 8th floor.
Oh, okay.
So if you go up to the 8th floor, there is no 73rd room. But there's a story behind that.
Okay.
So supposedly a man like killed his wife and daughter before he like committed suicide in that room. But then I was also reading that it was just like the family was murdered. So there's contradicting things here. But apparently the room was bricked up because there was so much paranormal activity going on in it.
Holy shit.
People or like maids who were cleaning the room said that there was like bloody fingerprints on the bathroom mirror that they couldn't remove. People were hearing like screams in the middle of the night, which just scares me.
Yeah, me too.
So supposedly, as they said, that they tried to brick up this room, But the hotel claims that that's not what happened and that nobody was actually murdered in the room and the room it's not bricked up or exists or whatever. But apparently if you go up to that floor, it does look like there was once supposed to be a room there. They just kind of put a wall and like hoped for the best.
Oh God, I hate that.
Yeah, that freaks me out. So like one of my sources said that like there are rooms ending in the number 73 except on the 8th floor. And the baseboard where room 873 would be is cut as if there was a door there. And there is a corresponding light on the ceiling.
So you didn't do a good job of covering over it, is what you're telling me.
Either that or your, like, design is shitty. So then it says if you knock along the walls between each room, you'll hear a sound that, like, also knocks along, which is fucking scary as fuck.
I hate it so much.
So there's also, like, if you knock where that room's supposed to be, like, you can hear that it's hollow. Yeah. Apparently, though, you can't reach it from anywhere. So they must have, like, really fucking locked that shit down so no one can get into there. There's been reports of a girl standing outside of the room as if she was, like, lost. Which is fucking scary.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine, like, you're the fucking family of ghosts in that room, and then they block it up, and, like, your daughter was out for a walk and, like, can't get back in.
Oh my God, can you imagine? That's so sad.
It is really fucking sad. I don't know what I mean.
I don't think ghosts have to abide by, like, wall rules, but, yeah, that's really sad.
But also, we're not ghosts, so we don't know.
True.
So then there's other rooms where guests have reported having pillows yanked out from underneath their heads while sleeping. Or they were pushed off their bed by something, which freaks me.
I fucking hate that so much.
Yeah, it's very scary. I'm like,
why did we think doing this was a good idea?
I don't know. There's another ghost that's said to haunt the property, which is supposed to be like a ghost bride.
Okay.
So they say that she was basically like in her gown coming down the stairs and might have slipped on the back of it.
Okay.
Or it caught fire. Oh, I just like spit out an almond. Sorry. My bad. Yeah, or like it caught fire from like, I guess there was candles along it. So like the back of it might have caught on fire. Yeah. She freaked out, fell down the stairs, broke her neck, and died. So then the staff and guests report seeing a veiled figure moving up and down the stairs, or seeing a figure in a wedding dress dancing in the ballroom upstairs.
For some reason, that freaks me out a lot less than the other one. Maybe because it doesn't seem malignant in nature. But that one, like, she seems like she'd probably be a nice ghostie.
Maybe. I don't know. There's also claims that sometimes, like, if she's coming down the stairs, you can see, like, fire on the back of her dress, which that is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, that's spooky. I don't like that one.
Yeah, no. But she was really famous, so Canada also gave her a postage stamp and a collector coin.
Wow, Canada is so cool.
Right? They're just like, hey, everyone really likes this thing, so we're going to make you a stamp.
Yeah, cool.
Good on you, Canada. Do you think if we asked Canada to adopt us, they would?
No, I think we have no skills that Canada wants.
Please?
Canada, if you're listening.
As a whole, please take us in. Thank you. I will learn skills for you. And one of the last ghosts that I found that supposedly haunts there is a former bellhop named Sam McCauley. So apparently he is actually super friendly and like will help people out, and like people don't realize he's a ghost until he just like up and fucking disappears.
Okay, I can get behind that kind of ghost.
Yeah, so like people try to tip him and then he just like vanishes.
Okay.
So there was a specific incident where there was two women that were trying to get assistance from the desk because they got locked out of their room or their key wouldn't work. The regular bellman couldn't get to them because he was busy with another job. So then eventually he ended up at the room and like knocked on the door, found them both in there, and was like, wait a second, like I thought you couldn't get in. And they're like, oh yeah, another guy helped us. And turns out,
like, who?
Wait, I'm the only one. Turns out it was Sam.
What a nice guy.
I know. What a nice ghost.
Yeah.
He's also been seen, like, possibly haunting his old office, which is now a guest room, on one of the floors. And people report seeing him and feeling, like, cold spots on the certain floors of the hotel where he kind of frequented.
Okay.
But that's kind of it for him.
Okay. You know what, like, that reminds me of? And I've never told you this.
Tower of Terror?
No. That hotel we stayed in New York when we were on our way up to Salem, Massachusetts.
Oh.
I have this, like, vague recollection of waking up at night and, like, there being, like, something by the door.
Why didn't you tell me that?
Because I forgot about it. Until, like, now I've thought back to it a couple of times and I was like, there was definitely something weird about that hotel.
You know what's weird, though? We knew going into that hotel
that
it had a reputation
haunted.
of being haunted.
Yeah. And for a while, I thought, like, maybe I had, like, placed it there myself because I had known that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, my God. And it's funny because I tried to book us that same hotel when we went up to Maine.
Yeah.
But couldn't get it because it was, like, super fucking booked.
I would have stayed there again. Like, I don't remember.
Oh no! I mean,
I didn't remember it until recently.
That
like,
area
was
is
just like
beautiful.
I could write it off as a dream, but
although now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like you did tell me something like that though the next day. But like, I think we laughed it off. Like it was like nothing.
Yeah, because we had both like put it there ourselves.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like, I feel like I have a vague recollection of you mentioning something like that. But, like, I guess when the way that you just presented it to me, we were like, I never fucking told you this, but remember the hotel that we stayed at? Like, yes? No, I mean, as I said, we knew going into that hotel that there was things there.
Yeah.
But
we kind of chose it because of that.
Yeah. I think so. Well, I feel like at nighttime, like, it got a little weird in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember laying in bed trying to fall asleep and, like, being a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I remember that we had checked in super late.
Well, we checked in almost midnight.
Yeah, and then I feel like we did walk around the hotel a little bit because it was a really beautiful hotel.
Yeah. I don't know.
And then I feel like, I mean, I wake up a lot at night anyway.
Yeah.
But I feel like I just have this, like, memory of something almost up near the vent, near the door. Nothing, like, obviously nothing malicious or anything because we've been fine.
Yeah.
But just, like, and again, like, I could have written it off as a dream.
Maybe.
I probably did.
Yeah, I just do remember, like, and it might have just been because we freaked ourselves out so much going in there that, like...
Just like we did today.
yeah. Like, I don't know if it was that, because, like, I remember facing the window being a little nervous.
Yeah.
And thinking, like, just fall asleep, don't think about it. But, like... I don't know. I think I freaked myself out.
I definitely freaked myself out.
I don't know. Freaky.
Way more than anything else freaks me out.
Yeah. But, I mean, hotels, I feel like, get a lot of hauntings.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't know why.
Because a lot of people die in hotels.
Really?
Yes.
I feel like not that many.
A lot. I read a BuzzFeed article on it once.
Oh, God.
A lot.
So at any given time when you're staying in a hotel, there's probably a dead person?
Like, maybe not to that extreme, but every hotel you've ever stayed in has had somebody die in.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
But it just feels like everybody has a specific haunting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whew. All right. Well, we're going to take a spooky break. And...
cleanse our brains for the next segment.
Yeah, which gets really fucking scary. I'm just warning you. Okay. All right. Lead us into our next spooky tale.
All right. In the northern part of the boot of Italy sits a small island called Poveglia Island.
Oh, Poveglia.
You heard this place?
Oh yeah, I've heard of this place.
It's a tiny island separated into two parts by a man-made canal. Its inhabited origins date all the way back to the year 421. Its population growing steadily until 1379, when inhabitants were forced to flee due to a war.
Mm-hmm.
For several centuries after that, the island just sat uninhabited. Eventually, some octagonal forts. I never say that word right either.
Octagonal.
Octagonal,
I
octagonal.
don't know. Octagonal.
Were built on it, 4 of which still remain today.
Mm-hmm.
And it began its life as a checkpoint in and out of Venice. In 1793, 2 ships came through the checkpoint with a few people suffering from the plague on board. And at that point, it was turned into a temporary quarantine station. Under the rule of Napoleon Bonaparte, the island was permanently made into a sickbay in 1805, and it was used this way until 1814. It sat empty again until 1922, when it was converted into an asylum. In 1968, the asylum was completely shut down. After that, it served a short stint as some, like, agricultural shit, but has pretty much sat empty since then. It is said that over 160,000 plague-infected souls spent time on the island during its time as a sickbay.
Yep.
160,000
That's a lot
people.
of fucking people.
That's a lot of dead people. There are rumors that up to 50% of the soil is made of human remains.
That is awful.
That's fucking terrifying. That is so much
I, like, just got
soil.
a chill thinking about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mass graves have been uncovered on nearby islands that offered, like, the same services, basically. But no full investigation has been done yet on Poveglia. So they haven't uncovered any mass graves, but, like, you'll randomly just find bones.
I mean,
washing up
if
on shore and
50% or more of the soil is human remains,
shit. Yeah.
I think it's pretty safe to assume that there's mass graves.
Well, most, like, what's in the soil is mostly human ash, because they would just do, like, mass burnings.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
That's fucking frightening.
Uh-huh. The way that we've treated people in the past is just jarring.
It's fucking vile.
Charred human bones still wash ashore on the small island, reminders of the mass burnings that they would have to do on the island to dispose of the plague victims. Fishermen steer clear of the waters today for fear of pulling something from the depths that they do not wish to bring home.
Oh god.
Napoleon may have had hidden caches of weapons on the island as well, leading to multiple small and very bloody battles being fought on the tiny island during his reign. During its stint as an asylum, there were rumors of a doctor who would torture his patients, performing cruel experiments and lobotomies on them. He was rumored to save the worst of his experiments for special patients. He would take them to the bell tower, and the screams of his victims could be heard across the island. No one is sure what exactly these experiments were, but we do know that they were probably pretty fucking bad.
Oh my god.
The man had a taste for doing lobotomies without any form of anesthetic or a concern for cleanliness in the hospital. So, you can only fucking imagine what he would do to these people that he would bring to the bell tower.
That's fucking awful.
The torture he inflicted upon innocent lives must have eventually taken its toll on him, and he eventually began to lose his mind. He claimed to be pursued by the ghostly inhabitants of the island. When the mental anguish finally became too much, he climbed to the top of the bell tower and threw himself off. Some say that it may have actually been an angry spirit, because there are claims that, they saw him get pushed out of the tower.
Oh.
A nurse who witnessed his fall actually said that he survived the initial impact, but that a mist came over his body, and she, watched him be choked to death.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Locals say his ghost still haunts the bell tower, and if you are listening closely, you can still hear him ringing the bell at night. Despite the bell having been removed years ago.
Nope.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
It's, super illegal to visit the island today.
I know.
But obviously, a lot of people still get over there. Those who do manage to get there claim that there's, a permeating feel of, despair and dread that comes over them the minute they touch down. They claim that shadows move strangely across, the remaining walls of the, leftover asylum. This was also a claim made by the patients that lived in the asylum for the last year of its life. They would claim to see weird shadows moving across the walls.
That's fucking scary.
People say that they feel like they are being watched no matter where they are on the island. They just feel like somebody's watching them. Mediums and psychics have been brought to the island, but most of them report a malevolent feeling, and a pit of dread deep in their stomachs that comes over them pretty quickly. They all refuse to ever return. Locals and the mental patients that once stayed there report hearing screams and wails at night.
Oh my god.
Researchers have reported a strange electromagnetic field around the island, despite there being no electricity on the island.
So scary.
So fucking creepy. There have been multiple attempts to sell and develop the land in recent years, but they all just kind of like fall through for some reason. Like there was a attempt to turn it into like a retreat, but they just couldn't get the money together. There was another attempt to turn it into like a lavish hotel. They just couldn't get the money together. Like it seems that stuff just keeps falling through in regards to this island.
Interesting.
Probably for the best when it's all...
There's something I need to Google really quick because I feel like I do know who bought the island.
I think it's currently owned by somebody, but they can't, like, they don't develop it for some reason.
But I think somebody quite famous bought it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which is why I'm going to look it up. Continue what you're saying, though, as I'm doing this.
This is pretty much it. It's just that, like, as of now, the island still sits vacant, waiting for somebody to come and release the souls of thousands that have not found peace on this dark and twisted piece of land. I watched a YouTube video of this guy who went and explored it, and it is so fucking creepy.
I know.
It is terrifying.
Ghost Adventures.
I know that Ghost Adventures.
So I watched the Ghost Adventures episode of it, and I thought Zach Bagans bought the island.
Oh, really?
That's what I'm trying to find. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look up, because I don't know if he was, like, in a bid to buy the island, if he was trying to buy it. There was something, not super recent, but relatively recent, that I thought that he was going for it. But I can't find anything on it, so maybe I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, from what I saw, I don't think he bought it. Somebody does own it, but, like, it just sits vacant. They haven't developed it for whatever reason. Although, to be fair, you probably shouldn't develop an island whose soil is 50% human remains. Just gonna throw that out there.
Probably. I feel like that's a pretty solid idea. Yeah, I can't find anything. Maybe he didn't, but I could have sworn that, like, something had come up where he was, like, talking about buying it.
If given the opportunity, would you go to this island?
I think I would.
Yeah? I wouldn't.
I think I would.
Absolutely not. I don't think so. Again, maybe broad daylight.
See, the thing about it being an island and knowing that it's uninhabited and that it's really hard to get to, like, that makes me feel a titch better about going there because I know I'm not going to run into anybody.
So funny enough, though, the guy, it was Steve Ronan. I don't know if you've ever watched any of his videos. He seems like he just, like, explores abandoned places. Mm-hmm. He went to this island and ran into somebody there.
Like a random person or somebody else?
Like an explorer. Somebody who had come to the island to also take a peek.
Is it not guarded?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think you can hire guards. Like, there's a lot of these little islands off the coast of Venice. I don't think you can hire guards to watch all of them.
I guess not, but...
There was a story about a group of tourists from, I think it was Colorado, who had gone over there and were there, like, as the sun went down. And when sun went down, they started hearing a bunch of, like screaming and just, like, people. And, did get picked up by, like, the Coast Guard because they were so fucking freaked out. They basically, like, called somebody to come get them.
But how'd they get out there in the first place? Someone just dropped them off? Like,
yeah, that I didn't see.
I feel like that sounds familiar. Like, I feel like
There's a movie based on it.
Okay.
I think it's called The Plague Doctor.
Okay.
Or something, because they were all plague victims, so I'm sure there's a bunch of, like, haunted fucking plague doctor ghosts out there.
That's scary.
No thanks. Can you imagine?
No.
No, thank you.
That's like getting up there with some of my worst nightmares.
Yeah.
That's fucking scary. Have you ever watched the Ghost Adventures episode?
No, but I want to after reading about this island.
It's
creepy.
It's unnerving.
Yeah.
It's very unnerving. It's like one of the first seasons.
Okay.
But I do remember it being very scary.
I have a lot of respect for the way that Zach Bagans handles this stuff. Like, I was listening to an episode of Box of Oddities recently, I think, where they were talking about a super haunted doll that was, like, has some, like, real bad mojo attached to it. And Zach Bagans wound up buying it just so nobody else could, like be haunted by this.
He does that with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, but a lot of that stuff, too, ends up in his museum. Mm-hmm. So, like, He did. I wonder if the doll is the one that I told you about that, like, they did an episode and I said, like, there's a disclaimer in the beginning, like, if you're, like,
you might feel something.
Like, don't look at it if you are, like, superstitious because, like, you might feel something. And I caught a glimpse and my heart started racing and I felt not good.
Yeah.
But, like, I wonder if that was the same thing. That was the same doll.
I don't know.
Peggy
maybe.
the doll.
Oh, no. I want to say it's like Harold or something like that is his name. Yeah.
But didn't Scared to Death just do a thing on Harold
Maybe
the
it
doll?
was Scared to Death that did it, that was talking about it.
Yeah. Well, they were talking about Harold the doll, but, like, I didn't hear them talk about anything with, like, Zach Bagans buying it.
Both they did an episode on a doll, and then pretty recently Box of Oddities did an episode on a doll. But I can't remember that one's name. But it's also a boy.
I mean, there's also Robert the doll, but I don't want to talk about Robert the doll because...
I think it's Robert.
He's in a museum of his own.
He's scary.
In Key West.
He's scary.
And he scares me.
Yeah.
So I will not talk bad things about him because his story very much scares me. I don't even know if I'll ever do an episode on him because I'm genuinely terrified of the lore that's around him.
I won't. Like, when Jethro was talking about him on Box of Oddities, weird shit was happening.
Yeah, I don't like that.
He, like, wrote a letter to
and
Robert.
I don't want to do that. I respect him.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at that.
Please don't haunt us, Robert.
I respect you. That's that.
Yes.
I can't afford any more bad luck on me, so. Alrighty. Onward. So then our last story of the evening here.
I don't think I'm ready.
It's so freaky, and I apologize. This is more of, like, a haunting.
Okay.
This is not, like, a place that you can visit today that's had multiple things go on there. This is the story of, like, something that happened to a family.
Okay.
So my sources for this are going to be radiotimes.com, The Sun, and walesonline.co.uk. I'm also going to throw in there...
I'm just getting cozy over here.
Oh, okay. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? I also got, I would say 90% of my information from episode 1 and 2 of season 4 of the Unexplained podcast. That's where I first heard this, and it scared the shit out of me.
Okay.
So then I had to look up the story to it, and there's not a lot of information, so that's where I had to kind of get my information from. So I apologize in advance, because this really scares me.
Everybody should assume this as a disclaimer. If you cannot handle the spook, get out of the spooks.
Yeah. So...
Get out of the cemetery.
Yeah. If you can't handle the spookies, get out of the cemetery. Please and thank you. So, the year was 1989. High in the hills of the Brecon Beacons in Wales sat a farmhouse called Heel Fanog. Bill and Liz Rich had been looking for a new place to call home. Bill was an artist looking for more space to paint in, and Liz was pregnant, wanting a new home to raise her baby in. Along with a couple was Bill's son from a previous marriage named Lawrence. So from the outside, it looked beautiful. It's on a nice hill.
It's gorgeous.
It's a gorgeous little farmhouse.
Sure.
You know, it's in Wales, which I assume is gorgeous.
I would assume
you
so,
know,
yes.
The area is just, like, real nice looking, right? So they come up on this house, and they're like, this is the one. Made even more appealing by the fact that the landlord isn't asking for, like, a lot in, like, rent.
Okay.
So why would they say no, you know?
Sure.
So that summer they moved in. But weeks later the vibe would, like, completely change.
Okay.
So in the autumn of 1989, Liz gave birth to a baby boy named Ben. The first instance that she started, well, her and Bill really started to believe that something wasn't right in the house, happened early one morning. Ben woke up from sleep wanting to be fed. Liz got up, grabbed him, started to do so. Bill was woken up by Liz getting out of bed, so he's like, I'm gonna go take a piss downstairs, because I guess the bathroom in this place was located downstairs,
okay,
from what I was understanding of the layout of the house. So he goes downstairs, goes into the bathroom, starts to go pee, and all of a sudden hears footsteps, like heavy, loud-ass footsteps, pacing the hallway upstairs. So he's like, what the fuck is that? Finishes up taking his pee, goes back upstairs to see, like, if it's maybe Liz that's doing this. Goes into the bedroom. She's just sitting there quietly feeding Ben. And he's like, what the fuck? Goes down the hall to Lawrence's room to see if it's maybe Lawrence that got out of bed.
Sure.
Lawrence is fast asleep. Out like a fucking light. goes back into his bedroom, asks Liz, like, hey,
Were you walking around?
Were you walking around? Did you hear that?
Mm-hmm.
She says no. So they go back to bed, but he's, like, clearly fucking shaken up.
Yeah.
So the next day, they receive their first quarterly electric bill. And we're stunned to find out how much it actually fucking cost.
Okay.
So it was 750 pounds. In dollar amount, that is $967.
What?
Yeah. So Liz calls the electric company because she's like, what the fuck? Like, we do not use that much electric.
Yeah.
That's insane. They send an electrician out. The electrician can't find anything. So basically the electric company is like, sorry, that's what the meter says. You're going to have to pay that.
Right.
They can't afford to pay this. Like, this is way too much money. There's a lot going on here. They're just like, what the fuck are we going to do? So that same day, Liz is upstairs in her room feeding Ben and starts having this really weird feeling that somebody's watching her.
Okay.
All of a sudden, 3 doors in the house slam one by one. The last one feeling like it was just like right in front of her in the room. Although she can clearly see the doors open. So Bill hears this, runs upstairs, and is like, what the fuck is going on? She's freaking out, and she's like, it had to have been Lawrence. He has to be playing a trick.
Yeah.
Lawrence isn't home. He hasn't been home for hours. He's still not home.
Oh my god.
So they're like,
can we open this curtain? I need to see the room. Okay.
Okay. Well, if it gets echoey in here, I apologize.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody.
It's got to do it because it's scary. So then Bill begins to notice a very vile smell coming from the kitchen. Like, kitchen area, bathroom.
Okay.
Thinking that it's probably an issue with the plumbing, he calls in a plumber. Once again, like the electrician, plumber can't find anything. So that was an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Bill also starts losing work as a painter. Like, his business is going downhill, so this is kind of putting a damper on the family.
Okay.
By winter, everybody in the house has now heard the footsteps. And has smelled the stench that's coming from the kitchen and bathroom area. Their farm animals begin dying of weird and unexplained causes. They had, like, a family pig, and all of a sudden it just got really aggressive, started going in circles, and had to be put down.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Liz went out to the barn one day to find that one of the goats had given birth, and one of them, she only gave birth to 2 kids, and one of them was dead.
Holy shit.
There was just, like, a lot of weird animal deaths. So Liz kind of has had enough at this point.
Yeah, she's freaked out.
And this is only the beginning. It gets far worse than this. No. So she's like, what the fuck is happening here? She reaches out to, like, the previous tenant, Bridget. Bridget, at first, is only saying good things about the house. She has, nothing really weird to say. But Liz is like...
I don't believe you, Bridget.
Yeah, Liz is like, you're a fucking liar. Like, there's definitely something else going on here. So Bridget's like, all right, fine. I had one experience. Just want to know. And she goes on to explain that she had an instance where her old sewing machine started running by itself.
Okay.
But that was kind of, like, all that happened. But, like...
Okay.
So that was a little freaky.
Yeah, sure. But you could write that off as a weird electrical issue.
Well, it was like I say sewing machine, but it's like a spinning wheel kind of thing.
Oh, okay,
so, like, it's not one of those ones that is electrical. I feel like it's, like, the foot pedal one that, like, spins the wheel. But, like, in that moment, Liz is like, well, somebody else has experienced something, so it's not just me and my imagination. Right. I'm not fucking going crazy. She feels, like, validated in this. So, by spring, the activity now has gotten far worse. It just keeps building and building and building and building and getting, like, really, really bad. Liz would see flashes of light tearing through the barn. This is probably one of the scariest things, so I apologize. Her and Bill woke in the middle of the night one night to the door creaking open and saw a skeleton-like hand wrap around the edge of the door and slam it shut again. So they freaked out, obviously, turned on the light, and a hooded figure is standing at the foot of the bed. And then it disappeared. So the family then decides, we need to call a priest in here because this is bad. So they were going to have the house blessed, hopefully quelling the activity. So Bill and Liz found that it helped a little bit. Like, things seemed to kind of return to normal. Like, there wasn't that bad vibe there anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, it seemed okay, right? Obviously, this is short-lived. So, one day, Liz takes Ben on a walk around the neighborhood. She comes home, happy to see, like, oh, my husband's up in the fucking window waving at me. Cool. Bill's home from work, right? Then, panic and fear dawn upon her because she realizes Bill's car is not in the driveway. So she drums up enough courage to look back up at the window, and there is a sickly-looking elderly woman now standing in the window staring at her.
What the fuck?
So they continue to be, like, tormented by something unseen in their home, but they could not afford to move. Like, they were stuck here. So Bill suggests placing an ad in the local paper to see if anyone can come forward with information about the property, whether it be, like, the actual house itself or just the surrounding area, just so that they can get, like, a general feel. I am freezing right now, by the way. Do you see? I'm, like, shaking. I'm so fucking cold.
Oh, my God.
I should have asked you what kind of day it was going to be in here today.
I didn't know. It was 8 a.m.
It's like false fall in this bitch.
You have a sweater. Put on your sweater.
No, I don't want to. It means I have to get up. So, eventually one of the original builders of the house contacted them and basically said that he was almost positive that they had built it atop an old burial ground for a stone manor that used to be there. So they kind of, like, I don't feel like they did anything after that. Like, they were just like, oh, okay, like, well, there's an explanation.
Sure.
Yeah, like, I don't know what they were expecting to do with that information. So then another frightening event would occur soon after when Liz was doing housework and was suddenly overcome with the urge to go check on Ben. So she rushed up into his room and, to her horror, found the elderly lady from the window sitting in a chair up there. And then she, like, vanished.
What the fuck?
Yep. A few mornings later, Bill woke in excruciating pain to find that his hands, or to look at his hands and find that they were so dry that they had cracked, which prevented him from painting for weeks.
Oh, no.
So then they lost more money.
Bill.
So tension in the home was building, and Bill and Liz were kind of, like, running on empty at this point. Like, what else are we going to do? This is bad. So that they kind of pushed that to the back of their mind because Liz found out she was pregnant again with their second child, Rebecca. Oh, shit. So this kind of kickstarted this desperate motivation to, like, rid the house of, like, whatever was plaguing it.
Okay.
So Ray Williams, a known spiritualist, was eventually recommended to them, having been successful helping others in similar circumstances. So he arrived in April of 1990 with 2 helpers and immediately got to work doing what he needed to do.
Okay.
So he entered each room of the house looking for signs of the paranormal and was not surprised when he found it. He left, came back a few weeks later. I guess he kind of left to kind of prepare for what he needed to do next.
Okay.
So he came back a few weeks later. Liz was staying with her parents and had the kids with her, or one of the kids because Rebecca wasn't born yet. And the men went around, blessed all of the rooms, but trouble was just getting started here.
No.
So when Williams and his colleagues were walking the outskirts of the house, Bill was waiting in the kitchen for them to be, like, finished. Mm-hmm. But he heard screaming and, like, crying from the back of the house. So he went outside to where the guys were, found one of them, like, keeled over in pain, and the guy basically said, like, it happened suddenly when he had approached the window to, like, the bathroom down there. Okay. So they all went inside, kind of went to that same area where the bathroom was, believing that that was, like, the epicenter of all the activity. So they went on to claim that there was 4 spirits that haunted the property. Okay. There was an elderly woman, 2 young men, and something else.
I don't like that else. I can deal with ghosts. I don't like entities.
Yeah. So apparently they banished the 3 spirits, but the other more malicious being was going to take more time. Williams told Bill that didn't come with the house, that came with him. Like, he must have brought it in here because it wasn't, like, a former resident or anything like that. Like, it wasn't there prior to them moving in.
Okay.
So he said that it had been attached to him for almost 2 decades. But Bill was like, where the fuck did I pick this thing up?
Right.
So then he remembers that he had an encounter in his earlier years with a man named Alex Saunders. So Alex was apparently a practicing witch who kind of took advantage of Bill by, like, saying to him, like, I can boost your career and you can make so much money if you, like, join my coven.
Okay.
So Bill's like, all right, fine, I'll join your coven. So he started going through initiation and then decided, like, I don't want to do this anymore, and backed out of it without, like, completing the rituals for it. So he's not sure if, like, maybe something, because he didn't complete the ritual, that maybe something came through there and attached itself to him. So, you know, Bill and Liz kind of spent a lot of time away from the house, like, during that time, like, in the beginning of the summer, because there was just so much activity that it was, like, hard to even be in there.
Yeah.
But they moved back in later on in the summer and found that, like, everything kind of seemed better. Like, the air seemed lighter, the atmosphere was brighter. Maybe, like, them banishing these, like, spirits kind of worked. So while the air in the home seemed a little bit better, Bill and Liz started to become concerned that something was possessing Lawrence. They said that he was, like, verbally aggressive, always seemed angry, and painted his room blood red. But I'm, like, probably going through puberty.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably just angsty teenager, you know?
Sure.
So then they, like, moved him into a boarding house nearby, and hoping that, like, whatever was possessing him would kind of, like, leave.
Yeah.
But that put a major strain on their finances, because now they have to pay for, like, a boarding house for him.
Right.
So they ended up having to sell the car. They lost their phone service.
Jeez.
You know, it was like, shit was rough, you know?
Yeah.
Bill's work was still sparse, and it was putting a really big strain on the family. But they found, like, a break come through when their neighbor reached out and asked Bill to commission a painting of her horse named Echo.
Okay.
So Bill accepted, excited that he was finally going to have some work. He was having trouble, though, while making this painting. Like, he could not get one of the hind legs right. Like, no matter what he did, he could not get it right. So he just kind of, like, did his best, hoped for the best, gave the neighbor the painting. She loved it. She was like, this is great. Fucking awesome. Hangs the thing up. The horse dies of a leg injury.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, God, that's fucking freaky. Oh, man, I'm getting the chills.
Yep. So, horse dies of a leg injury. Then, not long after that, Bill and Liz will be woken in the middle of the night to the return of the footsteps. So, August of that year, they call in another, like,
paranormal dude,
yeah. So, Reverend Roy Matthews comes in, and they wanted him to try to, like, get rid of everything in the house. He says that he also sensed the presence of 4 spirits and recommended prayer to keep the energies in the home peaceful.
No, banish them.
Oh, yeah. So they were kind of frustrated because they're like, really? That's all you're going to fucking say is just, like, pray it away? Like, we need more than that.
Yeah.
So days later, Bill's cleaning out his studio when he discovered a photograph of an old woman. After doing a little digging, he learned that it was the mother of the previous tenant, and he showed the picture to Liz, who confirmed that that was the woman that she was seeing throughout the house. In December, Rebecca was born. While coming home from a walk with Ben and Rebecca, Liz comes into the house and finds herself face-to-face with a 7-foot-tall figure moving throughout her kitchen.
No.
She pieced the fuck out of the house, only going back in for her and Bill to get, like, some of their things, and then they left to stay at Liz's parents'. But it wasn't over yet.
Why can't it be over?
So Liz begins to feel super oppressed, and, like, there's, like, this call coming from, like, the darkness of, like, where the house is situated. Like, she's just, like, feeling like something's there. Mm-hmm. Something's telling me it's there. So they decided to give another minister a try, and they reached out to David Holmwood. So Holmwood comes to the conclusion that Bill and Liz were being, like, tormented by demons. So he goes to the house, tells the couple that you guys have to get rid of anything paranormal, having to do with the occult, anything that might have bad juju attached to it, basically.
Sure.
So they, he basically pulled candles, books, decor, and even some of Bill's artwork. They threw it in like a pit in the yard and like burned it because they said that was like exorcising the demons out of it.
Sure.
And I found like one report that said like as they burned it, you can hear like screaming coming from it.
Oh God.
But I don't know how much of that I believe. But that still didn't solve the problem because it was gonna get worse in the coming weeks. But they still couldn't afford to leave and kind of had to learn to live with it. So Bill's paintings start becoming like increasingly dark. He becomes super obsessive over it. There was obviously something affecting him. He's painting into all hours of the night. He's obsessed over occult books, hoping that something in one of them is gonna like give them a solution that they need to like get the fuck up out of here. Rebecca and Ben eventually recall always seeing that same elderly woman in their playroom, that she was just like sitting there, she never did anything, and they thought it was normal. Like they thought that this was somebody that like their parents allowed into the house and like allowed up there, so they didn't question it. They never brought it up to them.
And that's how how long?
All the time. They said that they were seeing it all the time, so they never thought anything of it. They thought that this was just normal, and they're not going to bring it up to like mom and dad and be like, hey, like who's a lady in here? Like they thought that she was just allowed in there, which is very scary.
I wonder if she's like a protective spirit, though, protecting them from like whatever that other entity is.
Maybe. A camper in the house, or a camper in the field in the back of the home, also approached them about a tall figure lurking in the upstairs window all night, which startled them because they had been in bed all night. So they're like, who the fuck is that? So then Eddie Burks, who is a documentary maker and a ghost hunter, eventually contacts the family in 1993 and suggests that he can rid the house of whatever is in it if they let him document everything. So they're desperate, but they reluctantly agree to this, and Burks got to work. Unfortunately, nothing gets recorded because the cameras broke upon him, like, getting there, so they couldn't record anything.
Oh, shit.
But he also identified 4 spirits in the home. Unlike the others, though, he kind of had a story about the 2 young men. He went into some kind of trance, said that it was basically the spirit of 2 guys who one of them killed the other one, and then the murderer ended up being like hanged for his crime. So he thought it was like them stuck on the property. So he like banishes them, pushes them into like an afterlife or whatever. Also mentions the elderly woman, but that doesn't seem like it's like a threat.
Yeah.
But he knows that there's something else darker there. So he sits at a table, falls into a trance, wakes up, points out a spot near the bathroom, which is the spot that smell was coming from. Okay. Like it's in the it's kitchen bathroom area. He says that he soon saw a bright white cross rise from the floor. Bill is like losing his shit over this, though. Goes to fetch one of his paintings, and the painting depicts a bright white cross that is like surrounded by light.
Oh man, I've got chills
and
again.
Burks is telling him like that painting is keeping you guys safe, so you have to keep it around. Bill claims that the idea came to him randomly 3 years earlier. Burks kind of just like, it's like not clear anywhere what exactly he did after that, but apparently he like exorcised the house.
Okay.
And there was no further activity after that, and they moved out after 6 years, and then they would go on to divorce. Like, I guess things were kind of never...
It was just too much.
It was too much. It was never the same. And I think relatively recently Bill died, but they never figured out what the fuck was going on there. But that story reminds me of The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, kind of. This is like, much scarier, honestly.
Really? Yeah. I feel like The Haunting of Hill House is much scarier for me. I mean,
I could watch The Haunting of Hill House all day. This I'm only gonna listen to once, and that's right now. That was awful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But, like, also no thank you.
The worst part of that is the skeleton hand on the door.
Yeah.
I would have shit my bed.
Oh, man.
I'm
very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That freaked me out.
Yeah, I told you it was gonna get fucking scary. I don't even know if the house is still there anymore.
I hope not.
I don't remember, because I feel like when I first heard this story, I was really fucking freaked out. And then I thought that, like, I looked it up and it said that they, like it had burned down, but maybe I'm thinking of a different place. I'll have to find that one too, because that was a fucking scary story. It's a different one. Save that for another episode. But yeah.
That was awful. That was awful.
Mm-hmm. And it's just like it went on for years and years and years.
I literally can't imagine going through that for years.
No. Not at all.
Mm-mm.
I would get the fuck out.
Absolutely. I don't care if all of my finances are tied up. I will find a way out.
Mm-hmm.
I will move back in with my parents.
Yeah.
I am not staying there.
What I don't understand about that, which I just, like, thought to myself about, is if they were, like, renting the place.
Don't you have, like, a lease?
Yeah. Don't you, like, after a year, can't you just be like, you know what?
I'm done.
Stay here anymore.
Yeah.
Or unless they, like, bought it for a really cheap price.
Maybe.
But even then, just, like, sell it for a really cheap price.
Yeah.
Get that fucking shit. Wipe your hands clean of it.
Yeah.
Somebody else's fucking problem now.
Absolutely.
I ain't dealing with that.
Mm-mm.
That's nauseatingly scary.
Yes.
All right. Well, that was the spookies that we brought you this week.
Made us back here next week for more spookies.
Yeah, right up until October goddamn 31st.
We will be celebrating the spooks.
The best holiday in the universe. Okay, bye.